An interesting new feature in 5.10 is the addition of state variables. State variables are persistent variables that are locally scoped like my variables, except that they don't get reinitialized every time you start a block again. Let's take a look at how this works. We'll make a working copy of new feature.pl and we'll call this state.pl. Here we're using the use feature 5.10, which is required to be able to use state variables. We're going to go ahead and define a little subroutine here. We'll call this increment. Declare a variable n equals shift, and we will say ++$n. We'll increment it and then print it. Up here we'll declare a variable, my $i equals 5, and we'll go ahead and increment $i. And we'll do that, say, 4 times. And so when I save this and run it, you'll see we get the number 6 4 times, because each time $i gets passed, it gets incremented by 1 and printed. It's using this local variable here, locally scoped with my, and this one here is locally scoped with my, and never the twain shall meet. So each time $i gets incremented, all over again, and it starts all over again, and it's a 5, and so it becomes 6, and it's 5 becomes 6, da 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 da. Now, here's the interesting thing. All we do is change this my to state, and the behavior changes entirely. What happens is the first time it's used, it gets initialized, and then from then on, it ignores this, and it remembers what it was the last time, and it goes from there. So just by changing my here to state, watch how this changes the behavior. Go ahead and run that, and now we have 6, 7, 8, 9, which is really kind of interesting. Now, the only way to have done this before would have required the use of a globally scoped variable or using a reference to this scalar out here. Either one of those things has horrible potential for side effects, namespace collisions, and all kinds of possible problems. Typically, in order to do something like that safely, you would have had to have used a module, and again, you've got to have a globally scoped variable, and it's just a mess. Now you can do it with a locally scoped variable and have it behave in this unique and interesting way that just makes something like this very, very doable and very, very clean. So that is how state variables work, and that's what they're good for. Of course, they're good for a lot of interesting things beyond just incrementing a variable. You can use them actually for keeping state in a state machine, and that'll work very, very well. So here's something else that we can look forward to as 5.10 gets widely deployed: state variables in Perl 5.10.